Here at home, the employees at Moon's Kitchen are ready to get back to work. The business has been temporarily closed for more than a month, as we've been reporting. The city of Boise condemned their previous location at the Union Block building over structural concerns. Andrew Bartline has followed this story for us since November when it broke. And Andrew, we know this is impacting multiple businesses.
Yeah, other than Moon's, it'd be Mai Tai and Balsam to be exact. Their path forward is unclear, as the owner of the building has about a month, a little bit more than that, to make the proper repairs. It's about a 60-day timeline. And we'll get into the nuance of that in a moment. But first, this is the new home of Moon's Kitchen Cafe. It's the second floor Zions Bank on 8th in Maine. Moon says they've had ongoing construction for 5 years at that Union Block location just outside their building. They've been skeptical about that location looking into their future. So for that reason, Moon's owner says his business was on a month-to-month lease. But once they were condemned and forced to close last month, it didn't take long for them to find a proper replacement.
2 days later, we looked at 3 places and they didn't work out. The owner of the building, or the manager of the building, got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we have a spot for you." And I'm like, "Where's that at? I've never been up here." And we came up here and I said, "Fantastic." We moved every single thing with carts. We didn't even put anything in a vehicle.
Moon says the restaurant is staying the same. They didn't lose a single staff member. They've actually hired an additional one. This new space is larger and the menu will stay the same as well. Moon still needs to pass the proper inspection, but their plan right now is to open by New Year's on January 1st. The city says the owner of the Union Block building, his name's Ken Howell, has provided a structural repair plan. They also say he is appealing the city's decision to close that building as well. So Morgan, on the 208 at 5, we hear the latest from the lawyer representing Mai Tai in a statement he gave us about how this closure kind of pins down Mai Tai in a tough situation because they're not month to month.
Okay, so this was the good news that Moon's needed, but not necessarily the case. And Andrew, have you been able to get a hold of the property owner, Mr. Howell?
No, we know that he has a separate business. We've reached out to him there, but it's been tough to hear back from him.
All right, Andrew, thank you. The Idaho State Capitol building has a special Christmas tree standing inside. You'll meet the woman who brought it to the State House and why it means so much to her in today's 7-0. Plus, you heard Rachel mention freezing rain and sleet earlier, but what's the difference between the two? She's going to break it down for us straight ahead here on the News at 4. Stay with us.
Well, with cold air in place here in the Treasure Valley and warmer air aloft and precipitation all coming in tonight into tomorrow, heads up that we have the possibility of some very slick streets in places tomorrow as freezing rain could develop overnight. We don't talk about freezing rain or sleet a whole lot here in southwest Idaho or eastern Oregon, but here's the setup. So as far as our winter weather precipitation types go, rain is pretty easily understood. Snow is pretty easily understood. Of course, whatever we see here at the surface is determined by the setup of that column of air that snowflake is falling through up in the higher levels of the atmosphere. So when we're talking about freezing rain, we've got snowflakes that start way high up. We have this pretty deep layer of warmer air. This is what happens in an inversion, right? We get warmer air above colder air at the surface. So that snowflake melts as it falls through that warmer air, and then it hits those frozen contacts or frozen surfaces at the surface when it comes into contact with them. And so it falls as rain, and then it hits that surface. Maybe it's a sidewalk, maybe it's a street, bridges and overpasses ice quickly, and it freezes on contact. It's very slippery. It's hard to tell that it's ice instead of just rain. So be careful tomorrow morning. And then sleet, by contrast, is a snowflake that falls through a shallower air layer of warm air. It will melt and then continue to fall into this colder air, and then that raindrop refreezes. So it's frozen rain that falls from the sky, not a raindrop that freezes on contact. Either one of these, though, can be dangerous as they each lay down a layer of ice on streets and sidewalks. And because bridges and overpasses lack that insulation underneath, those can ice over first. And if you get enough ice, it can snap tree limbs and down power lines. I don't think we're in this boat tomorrow morning. In fact, most of us likely won't see icy streets, but it is a possibility with the setup we have in the atmosphere right now with that inversion in place. So just something to be mindful of. Pay attention to conditions tomorrow. Get up early with Wake Up Idaho and get Jim's forecast early to see what's taking shape. So this is our radar loop from the last several hours. When you see the pink, that is the freezing rain. I was going to say frozen rain. Same thing. Freezing rain that comes down. It's been just rain in the Twin Falls area, and we're also seeing some snow on radar too. So a little bit of everything out there as far as our Monday afternoon goes. So this will weaken our inversion briefly. Temperatures will actually really start to warm in the coming days as this high pressure shifts to the east. One area of lower pressure is pumping the precipitation our way, but also pumping warmer air our way. This second system dives to the south over the next 24 to 36 hours, and then it will also continue to push warmer air our way, but also continued precipitation. So from tonight through Wednesday morning, we have the possibility of seeing off and on showers, mostly rain in the Treasure Valley with that possibility of freezing rain tomorrow, and then some very light snow in the mountains. This winter weather advisory actually just expired this afternoon. Air stagnation advisory remains in place for now. It should expire tonight as that inversion weakens. Look at temperatures tomorrow, up near 50 in Boise. Temp trend for the next several days keeps us in well above average territory all the way into the Christmas weekend, which I'll take a closer look at for you coming up.
Right now, there is something truly special to see inside our state capitol building. Just outside the Attorney General's office, you'll find this patriotic Christmas tree. It's called the Honor Tree, with good reason. Maggie O'Mara talked to the woman who brought it to the State House and the emotional story behind why in today's 7's Hero.
Anna Workman is the loving mother behind every detail of this beautiful Christmas tree. It's a tribute to her son and so many others.
My son is Sergeant Chris John Workman, and he was killed in action on April 19th of 2012. And he was in Helmand Province, Afghanistan.
His helicopter went down. That was 11 years ago. Anna lights up when she talks about Chris.
He was a great guy, and he had friends all over, and he was really well liked, and he was funny, and he had a big heart.
After his death, she needed something to put her heart into. This tree was it.
We do it to honor Idaho's fallen soldiers, and there are 85 ornaments here.
She saw a similar tree in Illinois.
That was when I got the idea, and I used it as therapy because I needed something to do to honor not just him, but all of Idaho's parents, you know. and families, Gold Star families. I started in 2013 putting together the ornaments.
She started small, honoring Idaho's fallen soldiers on a tree in the window of her family business in Rupert, Idaho. She asked for permission to bring the hero tree to Idaho's Capitol building.
So for the past 4 years, we've been displaying the tree here at the Capitol.
This year, it stands proudly by the Attorney General's office for all to see.
It's when I got the Gold Star moms involved, and the Idaho chapter of American Gold Star Mothers have always helped put this up because, of course, their children are all here, too.
She makes each ornament with so much love.
Well, these are ceramic, and so they're fired in a kiln, and then they're hand glazed, and then I have to apply the names and the photographs of the soldiers individually. We say their name every time we place the ornament every year on the tree, so we continue to say their name every year, and that's the important part of the process of decorating the tree. We make sure that they get to say their names out loud so people can hear their names, and that way they'll never be forgotten.
That means the world to parents like Ken and Joanne Larson. They lost their son Eric in 2017.
He's always a very happy person, willing to help anybody who needed it. He'd give him the shirt off his back if he could. He was adventurous. He has 2 sons of his own.
Christmas is tough for their family, and hanging Eric's ornament means so much to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. He used to come home almost every Christmas, and this helps us remember.
We're just appreciative that there's organizations that do honor our veterans, like the Gold Star Mothers, and it's good that we remember them for their sacrifice for us. A lot of times people don't understand the loss that we all
Went through.
They know that Anna does. It's a shared bond. She asked them to say their son's name aloud for all to hear.
Eric Christopher Shank.
Can we give you a hug?
Anna Workman is keeping these soldiers' memories alive.
I just wanted to make sure that we tribute Idaho's fallen soldiers and their families, especially this time of year, because it's a pretty difficult time for those family members. They're missing their family, they're missing, their son, their daughter, their, spouse, siblings, and so we just want to make sure that, they know that we are honoring them and that people will see them.
And this hero mom, she has one request for you this holiday season.
Just come down and see it, and just remember that this is a tough time of year for military families who have lost members, and so, just come down and see it and honor them.
They are all our heroes.
You can honor the fallen and see the tree at the Capitol building until the first week of January. It's located right next to the entrance to the Attorney General's office. We're back with more of the news at 4 after this. For the Idaho Department of Finance, December is Identity Theft Prevention and Awareness Month. Identity theft is a crime when a person's personal or financial information is illegally taken and used to commit fraud. Now, the holidays are underway and we're buying a lot of gifts. It's important to know how to protect yourself online when you're buying those gifts. We are joined by Celia Kinney today. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Morgan.
It's such an important message. I mean, what would you say to the people at home that are watching this about how they know whether they're victims of fraud?
You know, it's a complicated question, but I think more so than anything else, it's important to know that looking at how to prevent identity theft should be similar to just any other thing that we do to protect ourselves, like putting a seatbelt on or buying car insurance. It's something that we have to do on a daily basis now, just to make sure that we can decrease our likelihood of being a victim. And towards your question, you know, how do we know if we're a victim? Well, there are a couple of ways. You might receive a text message indicating that you need to track your USPS shipping package from Amazon. It could be as simple as that. It could be something where you receive a notification from your health insurance company denying a claim for a service that you didn't receive. It could be certainly as something as simple as even a confirmation of an online purchase. So there are all kinds of indicators there. Essentially, you'll know that something's not quite right, and pay attention to those instincts. We want you to just know, first and foremost, be skeptical.
If you're thinking, I didn't order a package, why is this asking me to click on a link that says track your package?
Right, or even if you did order a package, I mean, that's how it typically gets you. You know, the number one age category for victims of identity theft right now is 30 to 39 years old.
Wow.
So this isn't something that we maybe used to categorize as a senior specific to scams. It's something that's more sophisticated now, and so we have to have a more robust response to that.
Yeah, here at our station, we do an incredible job of training people on phishing and all the types of scams, because it's truly not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you'll be targeted, right?
This is true, and employers do the phishing kind of test to make sure that you've got what you need to identify those red flags, and there are a few things. As it pertains to phishing, that's one of the main ways that identity theft happens. It's when a consumer unwittingly provides their personal or financial information as a result of phishing via email, text message, even a conversation. And then the other way is a result of a data breach that might happen on an online platform. So there are a few ways. And consumers should do a few things to really protect themselves. And the first is use complex passwords, long complex passwords. So think passphrases. I love winter 1926 with, all kinds of characters in it is a good way to do that. And don't use the same password for multiple platforms. It's important to change things up and then change them regularly. It's hard to remember those complex passwords, but you can use something like a password manager that can help with that. The other thing you want to do is just be skeptical. Don't provide or confirm your personal or financial information to anyone that might call, text, email. Keep that information for yourself. And the other things you can do is, of course, be aware of website addresses. Make sure that you've got the HTTPS, which is the security standard for visiting legitimate websites.
Okay, awesome. All incredible advice, and I know we could probably
could go on forever.
Forever, but we really appreciate your time. We appreciate these warnings, of course, ahead of the holidays and as we're in the thick of purchasing stuff online right now.
Absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
helpful.
And I'd like to add that if you do find that you think you are a victim of identity theft, the most important thing to do is to go to ftc.reportidentitytheft.gov. It's the Federal Trade Commission's website for reporting identity theft. Financial crimes are just by and large underreported. It's very important to get that information out there. They'll also give you a personalized recovery plan to help you with a pathway forward.
Yeah, that's the only way they're going to be able to know about it.
Right.
All right, Celia, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We're
Thanks
back
for
after
having
this.
me.